It's Gene, Mavstar. What is the right thing to do? And at the same time, what is the wrong thing to do? Have we all been there, fighting over those decisions to make in life? And maybe even more so right now. I don't know what's happened over the last 24 hours with YouTube, but for some reason we've managed to get over 30,000 views on a video, which is a big thing for a long time. And we've gained over 1,000 extra subscribers to our channel, which is good because, we want to just help others out there. That's what we're trying to do. And in this day and age, it's the genuinity is very hard to come by. And just looking at what is going on in our world. But before I talk about that, just want to just bang it back out there, what we do here at the observatory. We don't go to mainstream media websites to get our information. We resource it ourselves. We have our own equipment. With the Earth Health at a Glance, we use other organisations that we trust. But how much can you trust them? There's always going to be someone saying you can trust them 100%, Gene, or you know what, maybe you shouldn't trust them at all. And I understand that. But what we've did here is something that nobody else has done. And I think that when it comes down to making really important decisions, who do you want informing you on things? Do you want an independent scientist who has his own equipment, who has dedicated 10 years, a decade, to the research, and the last 5 years proactively built equipment to monitor things? Or do you want people just that speculate on mainstream regurgitation? That is the decision that you have to make. But here's what I'm going to say from this point on out. People think that there are more volcanoes erupting in our world than normal, and it's not the case. People think that there are more magnitude earthquakes taking place than there ever has been, and it's not the case. And we've tried to cover as many anomalies as we could on our website, which has been, I've got to say, poorly funded. And the next bill that comes in on that website, I'm not going to pay it. So the archive of data and all the other information on that website is going to go, and I'm going to walk away from it, because no way am I going to penalise myself for people that won't help themselves. And you know what, we've come back on YouTube with the magnetic pole data for people. We've given it them free, and the reason why we've done that is because there was a small amount of people that still have a pulse in their veins that are prepared to help, little things like this. And it's a little thing, the magnetic North Pole is not on anybody's mind. 99% of the people are unaware that the Earth is going through a magnetic pole reversal. So we don't reach them. We reach just that 1% that understand, that pay attention, that are interested in the Earth that they live on, because this is the life bearer of us all. This is what gives us all our lives. And I want to move on to something now. Not talking about the observatory and the things we monitor, but just talking about other things. Look at the situation which we are facing right now. The economic crisis, people can't afford to pay the rent, people can't afford to pay their mortgages, and they're ending up on the streets, and they're not being looked after. Food banks which are being extinguished by people turning up in Mercedes Benz that are more than capable of feeding themselves and fending for themselves, but because it's free they are taking advantage of it. I'm not kidding you, I've seen it myself. And then the impending holoclistic war that is dawning all over us all around the world. China wanna invade Taiwan. North Korea wanna blow America off the map. America sending their flagships, aircraft carriers, strike groups to Iran, in the Persian, in the Red Sea, in the Mediterranean. Aircraft carriers that are relying on, as I've showed in the last week, air refueling tankers that are around the clock, fueling fighter jets to deter those missiles that will come from Iran, and then Ukraine invading Russia. Look at the nuclear powers that are at play. Have we surpassed right now the Cuban Missile Crisis in our imagination? Maybe so, because Iran are boasting that they now have the capability of a nuclear weapon. Israel have the ability, although it's never been formally disclosed, nuclear capability, and the United States surrounding the Middle East with their armaments. And then we have the Ukraine invading Russia in the Kursk region and supposedly expanding into that region, invading the biggest nuclear arms country in the world. And who's backed that up in Ukraine and Russia? NATO. All of NATO countries. So when Putin came out and said they are at war with NATO, maybe it wasn't so true 12 months ago, but now I think we would all agree it is. We've given ATACMS missiles that can reach well within the range of Russian territory. Now the Ukrainians have invaded Russian territory. I'm not on any side of these conflicts. I deeply feel sorry for the results of what has happened in Palestine and Gaza right now. I do. And I just wish that we could work out a diplomatic solution to these problems. I really do. Because what we face on Mother Nature's scale is much more than that. We are probably looking at, and I'm saying this, and I will challenge any scientist to contradict me on this, we are possibly facing the same situation which Mars sadly come to when it's lost its magnetosphere as a result of its core solidifying. And we've had scientists come out now, and I'm going to go out on the ledge, and I'm going to say, look, how do we know that is not the situation for our planet right now? How do we know that is not the situation? Why do I say that? I'll be honest with you. The reason why I say that is because Mars lost its magnetosphere as a result as its core solidifying, drying up, the motion of the magneto slowing down. And we used to go through a magnetic reversal every 350,000 years. We're going through one right now, but it's 500,000 years overdue. And when a planet loses its magnetosphere, it loses its atmosphere, and then very shortly the liquid water on its planet, and dries it up. And we knew that Mars had liquid on its planet because we can see, when we look at the terraform, we can see those little veins that run across the surface of Mars, which were eroded rivers over tens of thousands of years of water flowing over them. But when it lost its magnetosphere, it lost its atmosphere and then its water. And we're at a situation right now where we're 500,000 years overdue a magnetic reversal, and it's suddenly taking place. And I have no data on all the other magnetic reversals, because the last excursion that we had, which was a failed attempt of a magnetic pole reversal, was 12,000 years ago. But before that was 780,000 years ago. We've had a lot of excursions in between that period of time, but they've all been failed. And what is that telling us when we repeatedly have failed magnetic reversals and not a completed one, especially when we're 500,000 years overdue? What's that telling us? I would not like to answer that question, in fear that I will be called a crankpot, a tinfoil hat, or a conspiracy theorist. You all have common sense, and I know this has not been the most important and significant topic, and not took up much of your daily lives, but it is important what is going on, because I can't say either way what is going to happen next, because all I have to rely on is the data that I collect, and that has required dedication. We went through a hell of a lot to get where we are right now. And it's not over. And we've not even reached, the midway point, or as I usually call it, equilibrium. And we've had a fight all the way along this line. It has been a non-stop fight. We have worse to come, and the hindrance of the world affairs and everything else that is going on is not helping. You know, I think you know what the deal is. You know, I'm a very logical and intelligent man, and I know what's been going on. You know, when you give £20 billion or 100 billion to Ukraine, there's a reason for that. When you give billions of pounds to Israel, there's a reason for that. Some of this money might come back and end up in your bank account or in a business that you own. And what is it in our world that, you know, it is a lucrative business to be in the sale of arms? Why? Now, I could not think of anything more sad to invest money into than the death outcome of a poor family that lost their home, their livelihood, and any existence and dignity of life. You know, if you're not hearing any of the other people that you subscribe to talk in such a manner, then you need to just take a little bit of time to think about why that is. Why are they not talking about it in such a detail? You know, sometimes a silence says a lot of words. And you know what, guys? I'm pretty much done here. You know, I really am. And I think the only way to end it is usually as I do. I'll say what I usually do. You take care of your loved ones. And as always, bye for now.